Hello everybody. If you want all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 920, The Silent Companion, Advanced. It was a cold autumn evening when Mark first noticed the figure. He had just returned to his small London flat after another long day at the office. The city lights flickered through the Rain Street window as he poured himself a glass of whisky. That was when he saw it, a shadow in the corner of the room, tall and still, watching him. At first he thought it was a trick of the light, perhaps his own reflection distorted by the old mirror above the fireplace. He blinked, and it was gone. Over the next few weeks, the figure returned more often. It never moved when he looked directly at it. It stood silently in doorways or at the end of the hallway, always just out of clear sight. Mark began to feel less afraid and more curious. The presence seemed protective. When he forgot to lock the front door one night, the figure appeared near the entrance as if standing guard. When he had a terrible nightmare about falling from a great height, he woke to find the shadow by his bed, and the fear melted away. "You are my silent companion," Mark whispered one evening, raising his glass in a toast. The figure did not reply, but it felt like acceptance. For the first time since his wife Anna had died 2 years earlier, Mark did not feel completely alone. The flat, once filled with painful memories, now held a strange comfort. He spoke to the shadow about his day, about missing Anna, about the emptiness that followed her sudden illness. The figure listened without judgment. One stormy night, Mark decided to test the limits of his companion. He placed a chair in the center of the living room and sat facing the corner where the shadow most often appeared. "Show yourself properly," he said softly. "I want to see you." Slowly the darkness took shape. A tall man emerged, dressed in the same grey suit Mark wore to work. The face was familiar. Too familiar. It was Mark himself, but older, with hollow eyes and a sad, knowing smile. The figure raised a hand and pointed towards the bedroom. Mark followed, heart pounding. On the bedside table lay Anna's old photograph, the one he kept close every night. Next to it was his diary, open to a page he did not remember writing. The words were clear and steady. "I cannot live without her. Tonight I will join her. The pills are ready." Mark turned around sharply. The figure was gone. Panic rose in his chest as fragments of memory returned. The hospital visits, Anna's weakening body, the doctor's quiet words about her suffering. Then the decision he had made in despair after her death. The bottle of sleeping pills, the note he had written and then hidden away. He had survived that night, but only just. The doctors had called it a miracle. Mark had called it a curse. He rushed back to the living room. The shadow was there again, but now it stood beside the front door, blocking his way. Mark understood at last. The figure was not a ghost or a guardian. It was the version of himself that had succeeded that night, the one who had followed through. It had been guiding him, not to safety, but to the end he had once chosen. Mark reached for the door handle, but his hand passed through empty air. The flat grew colder. The lights dimmed. He looked down and saw his own body lying on the sofa, eyes closed, an empty pill bottle on the floor. The shadows stepped forward and merged with him. There was no pain, only a deep, endless sadness. Anna was not waiting for him. There was only silence and the knowledge that he had finally caught up with his companion. If you learned a new word today, please make sure to subscribe so you can practice again next time. Vocabulary notes. Companion. Meaning, a person or thing that spends time with you and provides company or support, often in a friendly or helpful way. Examples. "You are my silent companion," Mark whispered. The figure was not a ghost or a guardian. It was the version of himself, the one who had followed through. Here the shadow acts as a companion. Similar words: friend, partner, associate, mate, fellow traveler. Distorted, meaning changed from its normal or original shape by meaning in a way that makes it unclear or strange. Example, perhaps his own reflection distorted by the old mirror above the fireplace. Similar words: twisted, deformed, warped, altered, misrepresented. Protective, meaning wanting to keep someone or something safe from harm or danger. Example, the presence seemed protective. When he forgot to lock the front door one night, the figure appeared near the entrance as if standing guard. Similar words: guarding, defensive, watchful, caring, shielding. Hollow, meaning empty inside or without real feeling or meaning, also describes eyes that look tired, sad, or without life. Example, the face was familiar but older with hollow eyes and a sad, knowing smile. Similar words: empty, vacant, blank, sunken, lifeless. Despair, meaning a strong feeling of hopelessness and sadness, often when there seems to be no solution. Example, then the decision he had made in despair after her death, the bottle of sleeping pills. Similar words: hopelessness, misery, anguish, sorrow, dejection. Story written by Grok. Image created by Grok. To read, listen, see all the stories, content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. CC Music, drifting at 432 Hz, Unicorn Heads.